A lot of real estate agents that we talk to feel the same way about AI. They're curious, they're overwhelmed, maybe a little behind, and then guilty for feeling behind. And we want to say something directly to that the agents winning with AI right now are not tech geniuses. They're not running complicated tools. They're using the right systems, okay? The systems that do the AI work for them in the background without asking them to become something they're not. So you don't need to fully understand everything about AI. You need to be positioned so AI understands you. And that's a very, very different thing. And that's exactly what we're going to break down in this episode. This is Elite Zone. Welcome everybody. Blake, what's going on? How are you this morning?
Good morning. We are doing well. Another week down. It's Friday. We're getting closer and closer to 4th of July, so we're doing good.
Yeah. We are on an upswing with this AI thing. I mean, there more and more is being revealed every single week. It's really, really exciting, guys. Just, it's before we really dive into what we're doing here, I just want to urge you guys to, stay up on your research, connect with people that are using AI, leveraging AI, all of that, because it's going to be very important for the future. But what we're going to talk about is we're going to go over 3 myths about AI that are actively costing you as a real estate agent business right now, and the truth behind each one of those. So, your Zillow profile, why is that just rented space? Your IDX website is the only online asset you actually own. What AI is specifically looking for on your website when it evaluates whether to recommend you, and the 2 things every agent needs to win AI first market. Okay. So we're going to get into this. So let's clear these up, Blake. There's a lot of noise around AI. Okay. Where there is noise, obviously there's going to be myths. So what are the myths? The whole tech savvy thing. We get this all the time. I don't know how to use these tools. Speak to that a little bit. Do you need to be really well versed in tech and tools in order to get on board with this stuff?
No. So you do not need to be tech savvy to understand AI and even just to implement it, right? So I like to think about it like electronic signatures. So agents that are listening right now, let's think about, even, 10, 15, 20 years ago, agents thought they needed to understand like the encryption of the completion of like how digital signatures were going to work, right? And it was overwhelming at that time when all these electronic signatures were happening because everything had to be done, in person on paper and pen. And today, no one thinks twice about sending a document through DocuSign, right? We're like, hey, let me write up that document, send it over DocuSign, get your signatures and do it, right? So with that, like we don't really necessarily care how it necessarily works in the back end, the software part of it. What we care about is it's getting the job done for us. And it's the same exact thing. AI is coming what DocuSign is, right? It's a software in the back end that allows us to get the job done faster, maybe even better sometimes.
Just really quick, I've never heard that comparison before.
Yeah.
I've heard AI compared to like the tractor and the internet and all these big things. But when you're talking about that, I totally remember when like that first came out and everybody was like, this is going to be a nightmare. There's going to be so much fraud. I can't figure out how to do this. It's so much hard. Like it's the whole change factor that we talk about, right? So
yeah. It's uncomfortable sometimes when we don't know where it's going to go and we don't know what's going to happen and how it may affect our, lives or business. So like those are all valid feelings, but at the same time kind of have to like lean into it and trust that it's, going to be used in a way that's going to benefit you. But like at the end of the day, like your job isn't necessarily to understand and build the technology. Like that's not real estate agent's job. But what their job is to do is have have the right systems that are going to support their business while they are, out at showings, doing listing presentations, doing negotiating, writing up contracts, like that is what's going to like have them excel. So like the myth of I need to be tech savvy, no, you don't need to be tech savvy. You just need the right tools to enhance your business and make sure like the tools are doing the job for you in that sense.
And I know before myth 2, just really quickly, there's another one that I've heard, and I just want to address this quickly because, we talk about systems integrations, automate, all this stuff. Sounds expensive. Blake, do I, as an agent, do I need like 10 grand a month to pay like developers and people to wire up all these systems for me and create content and help me with all this stuff? Because that sounds like a full marketing department.
I mean, hey, if that's what you want to, if you have that money and you want to spend it, go for it. But no, not necessarily. There's all types of tiers, right? Like for Agent Elite, we have different tiers dependent on your goal or what you're trying to achieve that are, cost effective, but also allow you to get the job done. There are people that hire, VAs and do virtual assistants to where like they have them, maybe set up the systems and stuff. Like whatever like you need at the end of the day, like nothing is necessarily free. However, like there are like ChatGPT, Gemini, like they have free versions and you can definitely use them, but like to a certain extent, right? Like I don't know if anyone's listening right now, like ChatGPT, you can upload, like if you're on the free version, you like upload a prompt with like maybe an image and then like you've used up all of your like tokens in a sense. So like, yeah, you can use it, but then you're limited on how much you get back from it.
And the segmentation, if you have several different ones and each subscription, that's, $20 to $100 depending on how much you use them. I guess, like what I was trying to drive at is it sounds like it's more intricate than it really is when you're talking to the right people that can coach you and say, hey, look, here's step 1. This is how we implement it. You know what I mean? Like when somebody's walking you through it. And, we're using AI and we're using these systems for these agents so they can do more without having to spend more money, burn out all their time. So yeah, I always get that like, wow, like this, all of that, like it's great, but I just don't have the budget. It sounds like it's really, really expensive. It doesn't necessarily have to be really, really expensive. So if you're not like a top agent and whatever level you're at, we're able to guide. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll leave it there. And then we got myth number 2, of course. And we talked a little bit about this last episode, but I've heard a little less of this. So maybe this one is getting through, but this myth that AI is going to replace all real estate agents.
Yeah.
Is that still a big panic as much as it was like 3 years ago when everybody was talking about it?
Yeah. So I still think it's like a concern in the sense of like agents that maybe aren't updating their information to the current status that AI is in, like that feeling or like that thought is still there. But we're here to tell you that it's a myth. It's not fully the truth, right? AI cannot build relationship. It can't do that. It can't have a human interaction. It can't read necessarily like emotions and body language. Like it is built off of an algorithm and it's there to present data. That is like what it's built for.
It doesn't have feelings.
Correct.
Right. So it can't, if you've got, especially as a real estate agent, it's a emotionally labor intensive transaction, the biggest of somebody's life. So an AI is not going to be able to walk that person through and be there in not only, the fiduciary way, the logical way, but the emotional way. Like, hey, I got you. You can trust. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And like, I want you to think about it too. Like you have 2 different agents in the same city, right? Like one of the agents has had experience in real estate for 15 years, okay? But hasn't updated their website. I would say maybe in, I don't know, a few years, let's say 3 years, okay? And then you have another agent that has been in the industry maybe 5 years, but they are constantly updating their website. They're adding neighborhood pages. They're adding content about events happening in their area. And maybe they are like posting client reviews, like they're being engaged into their system. And when someone asks like, hey, who is an agent in my area I should contact, or who is the best agent in my area to contact, the one that proves to AI that there's more online evidence, that's who AI is going to recommend, because it can't verify. Like if a real estate agent has 15 years in the industry, but they're not showing that on their digital presence, like AI can't recommend. So like that's another thing with the AI of like replacing. It's not going to replace you, but it's not going to necessarily recommend you, because it can't see that you have a digital online presence, which is how it basically cites and then recommends to people that are searching. So like that's another thing, is like it's not it's showing the people that are investing in creating that foundation and creating that online presence. That's who it's going to recommend, but that's a thing that you can control. So that's another thing I like to point out, is there's like some things that sometimes are out of our control, and it like stinks that we can't do anything about it. But this is a situation where like we can control how AI cites us and then recommends us.
Exactly.
That's the exciting part of it all. So yeah, like I like to highlight, like AI isn't going to replace us. It is going to enhance and amplify.
Amplify you if you use it, right? If you leverage it, if you choose to. But which leads us into the next one, right? Is, well, AI search, it's coming, but it doesn't affect me yet, or that's how it's going to be. I even catch myself saying that, like, to people. I'll be like, you guys, everything is changing. And I'm like, no, like it's already
changed
here.
It's
So it already does. So the agent saying that, what do you want to say to him?
No, I mean, I think think of like your own habits, right? So like 5 years ago, I would say everyone was probably Googling almost every single thing, right? We were going to google.com, we were typing in the search bar. But today it's becoming more common to go on ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, and asking questions in a format of like, who are the best real estate agents in San Diego or Texas or Florida, wherever they're searching, or which neighborhoods are best for first-time home buyers. Like those are the kind of questions they're asking, and buyers are making that same shift on how they're searching. So whether, real estate agents realize it or not, those are the conversations that are already happening. So when we think about like AI doesn't affect me, or AI search doesn't affect me, it does, because the behavior of how someone searches is different. No one's going on Google and searching like homes for sale, my budget's 500K to 800K. Like that's just not how people are searching anymore. They're asking questions
and then conversing. I've looked up things, on just Google AI, and it'll be like, this business specializes in boom, 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 boom. And then I'd be like, would you recommend this for me? Based on our conversations, I think, you know what I mean? Like it knows.
Max is going full throttle on asking AI. AI, run my life.
Make
all the decisions for me.
Recommend stuff that I might want, for sure. So it's conversational. So
no, exactly. And
definitely.
That's the thing. Like that is how people are searching, and that is probably how you search as well. And when you go to Google and it populates, it says thinking, and then all of a sudden you see it kind of changing colors for a second. That is AI. That is Google's AI.
Yep. So you got your traditional answer, and then you've got your Google specific AI answer.
Correct. So if you see that little paragraph right at the top, that is Google AI, everyone that's listening, like that is Google AI. And then it will list different like sites underneath it. But the first thing it's answering is from AI, which is great, because I'm like, oh my God, now I don't have to go through like 15 websites to figure out the answer. I could just look at here, and I can look at the source if I really wanted to. But like that is how people are searching. So it does affect you. And the more that you can get on top of this, and like, once again, you don't necessarily need to fully understand it, but if you can work with a company that does understand it, then you're going to be set up for success.
For sure. Got it. I love that. So hopefully you guys got some value out of that segment. We're trying to do more of these myth busting segments, because we know that, this is the stuff that people need to know. But we're going to shift a little bit to something absolutely foundational. There's another thing, guys, that, we talk to a lot of agents, and a lot of agents are doing, fairly well. And they're saying, hey, my Zillow, my realtor.com, like I'm plugged in here. That's good enough. I'm getting leads, I'm spending money on ads, but it's working, so I don't need to build my own website. And, we're here to tell you that we get it, but that's costing you more than almost anything else in your business right now. And it's not because Zillow is useless, but it's because, the agents who have built their entire online presence through these portals, they've built it on land. They don't, right? So they're renting space there. And when they leave and go to a different space, guess what? Any of those leads, those relationships, they're not going to be owned by them. And so guys, you need your own website. You don't want to be dependent on a portal. So Blake, let's talk a little bit about this.
Yeah. And when you're using third-party portals or listing portals, the thing is like you are spending thousands of dollars every year, especially like ones that are producing you leads, right? So what you're doing is you're spending thousands of dollars and you're trying to build your reputation on those systems. So that way, when people are finding you, they're seeing the reviews there, right? You're trying to market yourself on these third-party portals. And let's say a buyer does finally land on one of your listings. Well, before they ever call you, there's also about 3, 4, maybe even sometimes 5 other agents on that same page. And so that's like paying, in my eyes, for a billboard. So you're paying thousands of dollars for this billboard that people are driving by, and then having 4 of your competitors that are in your area, right? Like their sign right underneath you. For free. Right? Like these third-party portals are trying to collect as much money as they can, so that way they can be number one. Like at the end of the day, everything's a business, right?
And data, right? But they know that the data is where the leverage is. So any of those leads coming in, great, they're yours. But if you leave or you stop spending money with us or you go to a different brokerage or X, Y, and Z, you better believe they're going to market to those leads.
Yeah. And that lead is filtered to not just you. Like that lead is filtered to multiple people, right? It's like who gets them first. So that's like where you're then competing with your competitors that are listed on your listing page, like with your own website as your own asset. You're not dealing with that. Also think about it is like with the ownership is like if you were to have an open house, or think about it as like an open house, either way. Would you rather host it inside someone else's brokerage where they decide which agents get to greet your clients? It's your open house, but the brokerage is like, nope, we're going to have this agent actually greet these clients when they come in. Or you can be inside your own office, which is your own website, where every conversation is belonging to you because it's just you there. And that's like the difference relying on these third-party portals and investing into your own website. Like when you're using the third party, your brokerage, like they control who and when people talk to. And so when you have your own website and people are coming to your website and you're generating the traffic,
you control
it. And that's like the biggest thing that we like to like really, really hone in on of like why it's so important. We do hear like, no, I don't have a website, or no, or yes, I do. It's just through my brokerage. I just, they set it up for me, and that's great. But at the same time, if you were to, anyone listening right now, and it actually sometimes shocks people when they're like, I had no idea, is if you were to go to your brokerage's website, you're going to see, or your website through your brokerage, you're going to see in the URL that it's going to have your brokerage like domain with like a slash in your name, because that's just a page. You are just a page within this huge entire website. And then if you were to then play around or go to look for buy, sell, guess what? All of a sudden you are off your page, and I'm now looking at other properties. I'm looking at other real estate agents, and I have completely lost you as a buyer or seller. And then I'm like, oh wait, this person, who's this person? Oh, actually, let me reach out to them. And now you've lost that opportunity. So like that's another thing of like understanding truly like why it's so important to own your own asset of having your own website. And then also too, like being able to, if you change your brokerage, like you were saying earlier, right? Like brokerage changes happen. It's actually kind of common in real estate. And the first thing that I think agents start thinking about when they're like, hey, I'm going to be changing brokerages and doing X, Y, and Z, the question they ask is like, okay, well, what happens to my website now? And like, obviously the reason that question matters is because like the website is their business, right? That's usually where they're sending people or maybe
For
they have it
sure.
on their business card and they're like, hey,
Yeah.
this is my
Their
website.
Google business profile, all over the internet, all over social media,
Yeah, like
all over
where's
the
this?
place, pumping into AI and all the algorithms. This is where the brokerage I'm part of. Here's my brokerage website, page that you can drive people. I mean, look, guys, you're doing the right thing. That's why it's frustrating. You're doing the right
Yeah,
things, but it's through the wrong lens. It's
channels.
through the wrong
Yeah.
channels.
Yeah,
Yes.
like it just doesn't all connect and like
It doesn't do anything for you.
yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, like I will always say this, you are your business. You are self-employed, you're an entrepreneur, and you have to also think of like your assets as part of that as well. And there's so many things that like as a real estate agent, you being able to control yourself is so important, and having your own website. Also, with your website for Agent Elite, when you have a website with us, you have a CRM, and your CRM is your entire database. When you're with a brokerage or another listing portal, you leave and you don't take that CRM or database with you. That brokerage owns that database.
Yeah.
Even though you're like, I created the relationships, I created the opportunity. What do you mean? No. Your brokerage owns that. So that's another reason why, like, with your own website, if you were to leave or change brokerages, guess what? All you have to do is just update the logos on your website. That's
Yeah.
it.
You go in the back end of your Agent Elite profile and
Yeah.
you upload a JPEG.
You don't change your CRM. So all the contacts you've had in there, boom, you get to keep. And another way to reach out is sending a blast email. Hey, I've changed brokerages.
Sure.
That's
Yep.
another way to then re-engage with your database that you've already had organized in your system.
And if you have Design Studio, once you update your profile and your new logo, if you go to create all of the marketing materials that perhaps your brokerage offers and now you don't have them anymore, or the new brokerage is just not up to par on their marketing or whatever, you have easy, efficient control over that. And your marketing materials, the system pulls it in your profile, your info, right? So you also can save a lot of time on marketing materials if you change brokerages, because like you said, it does happen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So then what, if you do have your website, what is AI actually looking for on a website? Like when it evaluates, let's give them like a checklist that we can say, hey, here's the things.
Yeah. So the first thing is going to be, drum roll, market authority, right? So you want to make sure like anyone, buyer, seller, AI, know what market you own, what market you have authority in. So if I were to come, or anyone were to come to even just your home page, your front page of your website, right? Would they know in literally 5 seconds where you work? So like, are you in San Diego? Are you in Florida? Are you in Texas? Are you in Las Vegas? Are you in Ohio? Literally wherever you are listening to this today. If someone were to go to your homepage, would they know what market you work in? That's what I would ask.
Yeah.
And if for some reason that's not what it shows, maybe you freshen it up, right? But AI is doing the same thing. Like, it can't make assumptions. AI does not assume. Once again, it's sites.
Facts.
It's all facts and data.
Yep.
So if for sure buyers and sellers who are humans who can make assumptions can't tell, I can tell you right now, AI will not be able to do that, and they will not be able to tell, and it won't be able to recommend you for a certain area. So it's looking for proof. So you need to make sure your homepage is evident that you serve a certain area, you have those communities on your homepage, and you're showing all of that. So it's going to be the number one thing, is market authority.
Yeah.
Okay, so
really good.
The second thing that I would definitely highlight is fresh content. Now, once again, you might not have time and you might not want to do it, and that's totally fine. We've personally, Agent Elite, have made packages for our clients. We have concierge packages that a lot of our clients are like, thank you so much for having something like this, because once again, I either don't have time or honestly, I don't know what to do. And here you go. I'm just going to pay for it. So there's ways, but you need fresh content. So a lot of times, with agents, they have their websites, and if it is their own, once again, like, awesome, that is amazing. And if it's maybe like something that they just haven't touched in a long time and it's outdated information, that's also not going to be helpful for buyers and sellers to create that trust, but also for AI, once again, to recommend you. I like to think of it as like, imagine if you, I don't even know, like, do they even have Hallmark stores around here, like paper store?
Ooh, I mean, they had them all over when I was a kid growing up.
I remember them. I
I
loved them.
think they do. Yeah, I think they do like maybe at some of the malls still.
So, okay, but let's just like say you walk into a store, right? And there's like magazines and there's newspapers and there's just like information that you can like check out that you're like, this is so cool. And then you like pick up that magazine or newspaper and it's from like 3 months ago to a year old. And you're like, what? Like, this is so outdated. You're like, why am I reading information from
Yeah,
3 months
like
ago?
the
Like, what's
newest
going
thing
on?
is something from 2023, exact, some strategy
Yeah.
from 2023 or
You're like,
some new info from 3 years ago. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, you're just like,
you're like the metaphor queen. The simile and metaphor queen, but that's a great way to explain it though, right? Like if you walked
yeah,
into a place looking for relevant information and it was all like frozen in time
outdated.
from 3 years ago, you'd be like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Like this, why
Yeah.
does this even exist?
Exactly. Or you're like looking for like, I don't even know, like an item, like a new item. And you're like, this is the item that they've been selling for the past 5 years. Like,
Sure.
where's the new updated stuff?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Starbucks are coming out with a different cup every other week. But it's the
Yeah.
same thing as your website, right? Like you have to have updated information. Like that's what people are looking for. They want the new. And this is where leveraging that AI, right? Like leveraging, like putting in prompts to be like, hey, I'm a real estate agent in this area. What are some free events going on this weekend? And like pulling that information and update it on your website, right? Because like someone might search on to AI and say, hey, what are some free events? And potentially your website could populate because you have that information on there, right? So like adding fresh content, it's going to help buyers and sellers, build that trust a little more, but then it's also going to give proof to AI to actually be able to recommend you. And then you have,
Yep.
honestly, one of the most important ones is like your IDX search.
Yeah.
Like buyers expect to search for homes and have like options to be like shown immediately. We know that. Like if I'm going and searching for homes, like I want to see, like I don't want to be searching through like a website and like not being able to find homes. So like if your website were to say, and now a lot of our clients, I mean actually almost every single client, unless they're like a mortgage lender, obviously they're not part of an MLS board, is going to have an IDX website. But if someone's listening right now and you're like, oh, I just have, like a generic web page or anything like that, like you need IDX search, because having just a, verbiage that says like, call me later, like someone's gonna not call you and they're gonna go somewhere else.
No, they won't call you now. They won't call you later. They won't call you yesterday.
They won't. Yeah, they won't call you. So make sure you have an IDX search website so that actually stay on your website.
Right. And I just wanted to say that also shows AI that you're actually a legitimate real estate agent too, right? Like that's a signal right there that no, I'm hooked in, and the user experience on my site is the same level of user UX on Zillow or one of these big. And by the way, your schema markup that you guys need that tells AI how to read your site, Agent Elite sites are built with that. So if you build it somewhere else, you have to submit that, and it's a little technical. Obviously, AI makes it easier, but it's something that has to be maintained and resubmitted and things like that. So Agent Elite sites are built with this as a foundation. So I want to throw that in there.
Absolutely. And then like last but not least on this checklist is of course trust signals. Like trust. Like everything is always built on the foundation of trust. So think about how buyers interview agents or like sellers when they do listing presentations, right? Like they are not just reading a bio. They're not like, oh, okay, Max, let me just read who you are. They're looking for the reviews. They're looking for professional photos. They're looking for recent sales.
Sure.
They're looking for neighborhood expertise. And of course, like ways to contact you or like how you interact with your clients that you work with. Well, AI is evaluating almost all of those signals and saying, okay, do we trust this person to then create a credible recommendation for someone that is searching certain things? So like creating trust not only to people, buyers and sellers, but once again, AI, because everyone's searching on AI. So we need to make sure that the AI systems are trusting us as well.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. I think that, I feel like we're doing a service. You know what I mean? Like, this is important stuff. And I don't know. I think this was what? Dr. Seuss, Cat in the Hat. Is that where they have thing one and thing two? Is that the story? So we're going to break this down. We're going to Dr. Seuss this, guys. It comes down to two things, if we had to boil it down, that you guys need. Thing one is an AI visible website. Hey, this is structured. It's got a good content rich UX. AI can crawl that and verify your legitimacy, your authority in your market. It's not just a brochure. It's not a Zillow redirect, right? And then everything else, that's the foundation. You build everything else on top of that. And then your AI ready local presence. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're a real estate agent, you've got local areas that you want to work in. If you do not have local presence and it's not synced across your digital footprint, then you are not going to be ranked how you want. It's just your business is not going to grow how you want. That's why we harp on local presence, this tool so much, guys, because honestly, you can do everything else. And, maybe after years you do decent, but if you dial in your local presence in your market, it will change everything for your business.
Yeah.
So,
and with the analogies too, like think about building a home. Like, you don't just all of a sudden start picking out paint and furniture and say, okay, this is what no, you are hey, let's lay down the foundation first, so that way we have a strong structure for when we actually build the home. And it's the same thing for your business. You have to build this foundation. That foundation is who you are, what your brand is, but having a website, that is part of the foundation. And then the rest, everything else like social media, obviously email marketing, maybe paid marketing, Google reviews, videos, all of that will come next. But you got to be able to have that strong foundation in order to build on that. Because I can tell you right now, what is it? The Three Little Pigs? Is that when they don't have a strong foundation, right?
Yeah. It's the straw house.
Yeah.
So if your competitor is the big bad wolf and your house is made out of straw, he's going to come blow that down. Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to have
Gotta have a good foundation.
You have to. It is everything. And if you don't have it, I'm going to be honest, it's going to make things harder. It really is. You're going to put in so much work. That big bad wolf's going to come on down. It's going to blow it over. And you're like, I just spent months and hours. What do you mean? And it's going to be because that foundation wasn't strong.
Yeah, when you could have called Agent Elite and saved yourself some time and money. Anyways, that sounded really salesy. I apologize, guys. But look, it's the truth, right? And pulling it all together, you don't need to understand all of this stuff. You don't need to necessarily be, a master at marketing and content and all of this. You just have to have these foundational pieces in place and work towards them. You own your website, build your local presence, let the system work. If you don't know what systems to put in place, we've got you covered. Go and ask yourself these questions that we've posed to you. If a buyer searched for an agent in your market on ChatGPT, do you think that would be you? And if the answer is I don't know or no, then hey, give us a call. Send us a DM, comment on this episode, And then second, do you own your primary online presence, or are you renting it from Zillow or Realtor.com or a brokerage or somebody else who is pulling the strings? The answers to those two questions, that's going to tell you exactly where to start. Yeah.
Yeah. I do have one little thing that I do want to leave the people.
Yes.
So like Max said, would ChatGPT recommend you? You can go that route, or you can even say, hey, I need to think about if I were to pull up my website right away, do people know where I service? Okay. That's the first thing you need to think about. Can someone search homes on my website? And then would I be proud of that first impression that someone was gaining from my, from what they're seeing me digitally online? Is am I proud of that? If there was I'm talking about any hesitation or having to think about that for a second for any of those questions, that is where you start. You found your biggest opportunity to work on, and it's those points. So get after it.
Heck yeah. And if you don't follow our rules, we're going to call you and yell at you. No, just kidding. Look, guys, comment visibility. You can go to Agent Elite. I believe it's just at Agent Elite Instagram. Pretty much comment visibility on any of those posts. And we're going to send you info about this AI ready infrastructure, what this looks like. And we're going to ask you a few questions to gauge how we can better help you. So go try that out, or Or if not, hey, go to agentelite.com/visible and you can get your visible agent guide, which is going to give you the entire roadmap of what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and all of that stuff, and then give you and equip you with the tools and knowledge that you need. So, go do that stuff, guys. This has been Elite Zone for this week. Own the asset, build the foundation, and let the system do what it's built to do. All right, Blake, we're out of here. I'll see you next week, and we'll see all of you beautiful people next week as well. Have a great one.
Bye.